Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing an updated version of my top 10 favourite foundations. And I did one exactly around this same time last year as well as the year before. And I just wanted to say that the foundations, most of the ones that I'm going to show you are ones which have actually been released this year. And then some will be ones which have come out last year or the year before, but I only actually just bought them this year, which is why I'm saying it's like my updated version of ones which have come out recently, whereas ones which I've just discovered this year. So these foundations I'm going to show you are geared towards Indian, Pakistani skin tones, tan skin, brown skin, and anyone who is similar to me. The only reason I'm tagging it as Indian and Pakistani is because I am half Indian and I am half Pakistani. Obviously, if you are from the Middle East, it may also suit you. These foundation shades in particular, I'm not talking about the actual foundation, I'm talking about the shades, because I'm going to be mentioning the shades in this video as well. But obviously foundations come in a vast variety of shades, so hopefully most people that will watch this video will find it useful. But just for tagging purposes and to make it easier for women of my skin tone, that's the reason why I've put it as the title. So that's just to clear that one up. So just for reference, because I know it's the one that most people tend to use for ease, is in MAC I'm an NC40. Generally most of the year I'm an NC40, and then if I happen to get a tan or go on holiday and get a bit darker, then I go into NC42. So what I will do is the shades which I have got, I will mention whether they're perfect for me, they're too dark for me, or a little bit dark or a little bit light, that sort of thing. Picking your foundation shade is a very, very important thing. Now, I do read the comments that I get on a lot of my videos, especially ones where I get a lot of views on them. Some people can be quite rude in assuming that I will not read their comments, and there's no need to behave that way. It's just makeup. There's no need to get offended when it comes to skin tone. Some people are so precious about that kind of thing that I'm just like, really? First world problems, people, you know? So I do want to say, especially when it comes to the Asian community, and I'm talking specifically the South Asian community. Now, I know it is the same in many other communities as well, but I can only really talk specifically about myself because I am part of the Asian community. Now, and I mentioned this in my last video as well, Asian girls, there is no need to wear foundation which is too light for your skin. Now, I know there are people out there that are going to say, well, it's my face, I can do what I want. Yes, you're correct. But let me simplify it as much as possible. When you're sick, what happens to your skin? You get pale, right? And you look ill. So why do you think that putting on a foundation which is too light for your skin is going to make you look healthy? It's not. It's going to make you look sick. Because I do remember somebody saying, oh, well, I like to wear lighter foundation shades because it makes me look healthy. No, it doesn't, love. It does not make you look healthy. It makes you look unwell. Why is it that when we are well and we are glowing and the blood has rushed to our skin and we've got that beautiful, healthy tan glow, that we look so much healthier? Now, if you were to wear something that was a little bit darker for you, because I think darker is a lot more easier to get away with than wearing a lighter foundation, why is it that you still look all right? You look healthy, right? When people get a tan, they look healthy because their skin is glowing naturally. So, and when you are well and when you are healthy, the blood naturally rushes to your cheeks and you can look a little bit darker, but you look healthy. So that is the most simplest way to describe the reason why it is important, if you are an Asian woman, to wear a foundation shade that either matches your skin or is a little bit darker, not lighter, because you will look unwell. Whether you are light, whether you are dark, you are beautiful, and that's all you need to remember. You should embrace the skin tone that you have. In the Asian community, we come in so many different shades. In my house alone, there is 7 of us. Every single one of us has got a different skin tone. Darker does not mean ugly. Fairer does not mean more beautiful. Now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to show you the foundations that I've been loving and the reason why I recommend them and think that they are so amazing. And that is just for this year. There are a couple that I did want to throw in here, but I've left them out. That doesn't mean that they are hated, but I'm trying to show you my top 10 of 2017, the ones that I've used the most this year specifically. Other foundations, maybe they're number 11 or 12. So the first one is this one here, which is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Demi matte finish foundation. My shade is in 108 Caramel Beige. This is actually finished. I really should start doing empties videos, but I just forget and throw them in the bin because I don't want rubbish lying around. I have got about 3 or 4 of these. I love this foundation. This is probably my favorite drugstore foundation out of all the drugstore foundations out there. I absolutely love it. The only thing that annoys me is that this shade in particular you cannot buy in the UK. You can buy this foundation in the UK, just not this shade. I bought this when I've been going to Canada quite a lot. I've got a lot of family in Canada. Last year I was in Canada, the year before I was in Canada. I also went to New York earlier this year and I have stocked up on these. And this one is finished now, so I'm going to buy another one. I love it. It gives a beautiful medium to buildable coverage. It stays on my face all day. It gives a lovely semi-matte finish. And it says it's a 24-hour foundation. Now, I would never recommend trying a foundation for 24 hours because who does that? You need to wash your face, man. Get some sleep as well. But personally, I think this is an amazing, amazing foundation. This one, Caramel Beige, is slightly dark for me. Very, very slightly. So it is enough that I can get away with wearing it pretty much throughout the year. So this one, if you are an NC42, you are more likely to match this. If you're an NC40, you can still get away with wearing it. Another drugstore foundation is this Maybelline Dream Cushion Fresh Face liquid foundation on the go. This is another foundation which I bought when I was in the US. My shade is in medium beige. I'm not actually sure if this shade is available in the UK, but I believe the foundation is. This is actually finished now, another empty. It's one of those cushion one, well, it's called Dream Cushion. It's a cushion one like this. And this one is also slightly dark for me, but I actually wore this yesterday and I can just about get away with it. When I have a tan, it will look amazing. But if I'm really, really fair, I'm actually probably at my fairest right now. I swear I don't even remember last time I saw sun in London, like a week ago. But I still wore it. But because it is a very medium coverage, quite a light coverage foundation, because it's a little bit dark, you can almost get away with it because it blends into your skin so well. And because there's not that like huge amount of coverage with it, it's definitely a buildable foundation. Unfortunately, it is one of those ones which finishes very quickly and dries very quickly, so you have to add 1 or 2 drops of oil to really get that foundation to come out of the sponge. But other than those reasons, I think that this is an amazing kind of everyday sort of foundation to wear. It's the kind of foundation that is good for people that don't want too much coverage. Those of you lucky people out there that have got almost perfect skin. I don't have perfect skin, but when I did wear this, I wore concealer on my face to cover those bits. So I'm just saying, so this is a great foundation for everyday wear and drugstore price as well. Another foundation that I have loved so much, and I have done a review and a demo of this one, also the Dream Cushion one I did earlier on in the year. I will link all the reviews and demos that I've done below, just so that it's easier for you guys to search. This one is the Primark PS, that's the name of their makeup brand. My Perfect Colour Perfect Finish Foundation, and my shade is in Toffee. And this is £2.50, the cheapest foundation I have ever bought, and the cheapest foundation that I've ever bought that is amazing as well. It's got medium coverage. It's also a semi-matte finish, similar to the L'Oreal one, but I find that the L'Oreal one is a bit more matte and has a bit more coverage. This one gives a really nice natural glow to the skin. The fact that it costs £2.50 means you're not so worried about it running out because you know you can always get another one. The coverage it gives is amazing. It lasts for upwards to 10 to 12 hours and only a tiny little bit of shine shows through, and you can powder it down and still look amazing. Again, I forgot to mention I have got normal to combination skin, so I just tend to get oily around my T-zone, and that's probably towards about hour 8 or 9. But this one really, really does hold up well. So if you've got oily skin as well, you may like this, but definitely make sure that you powder as well. I realise that I'm accidentally going through this from like a price point of view. So the next one I'm going to show you is this one from Sleek. This one is another drugstore foundation. This one is called the Lifeproof Foundation, and my shade is in LP11. LP11 is pretty much a perfect match for my skin, albeit maybe slightly dark. But when I say slightly, I mean 0.001% dark for me. And I only noticed that because I'm so anal when I've got my face in the mirror and I can see I'm like, yes, a little bit dark. but it's good enough. This is a medium to full coverage foundation, and again it gives a beautiful natural finish to the skin. It's not glowy and it's not matte, it sits nicely in between. I actually prefer those kind of foundations because those mimic the skin tone more. Nobody's skin tone is super oily all the time, and nobody's skin type is also completely matte. The natural oils in our skin, which we all have, slowly come out throughout the day, and that is what gives us that kind of natural sort of finish. So this one definitely gives more of a skin type kind of look to the skin, and I think it's like £9. So again, relatively affordable, and I think it's amazing. I will link my review and demo below for you guys. Now, an oldie but a goodie. I actually struggled to pick my 10th foundation, and then I realized one that I have started to love again is the MAC Pro Longwear foundation. This one, oh my god, I think my review I did on this, I didn't even used to do demos then, is so many years old. I'm going to link it below for you guys so you can have a laugh at how different I looked. Didn't used to do my eyebrows, my eyeshadow weren't that blended. I had nicer hair then though. But anyway, so this is in the shade NC40. This is perfect for me in terms of a skin colour. It is a perfect match for me. I just love this foundation. It's quite thick. It's definitely a medium to full coverage foundation, but more on the full coverage side. This one is one that I always gravitate back towards. I don't even buy from MAC that much anymore because so many foundations out there, so many brands out there. New brands are always coming out with new ranges, foundations, and we try and test other ones, forget about the old ones, and try out new ones all the time. But this is one that has definitely stood the test of time. I don't know how many bottles of this I've had. This one's almost down to the bottom, and when it does run out I will repurchase it. Obviously I've got loads of foundations to get through, but when I have those days where I'm like, what do I wear? I go back to this one, the tried and tested oldie but a goodie. This foundation is one that I bought this year, and it's the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation. My shade is in Warm Beige. I believe this foundation may have come out last year, I can't remember, but I only bought it myself this year, and I bought it from Beauty Bay. This one is a tiny little bit dark for me, but I believe the shade up is too light. So like I said at the beginning, I would always prefer one which is slightly dark to slightly light. If you're an NC42, this will be a perfect match for you. This is another one which is a medium to buildable full coverage foundation. I love the way that it glides onto the skin. I only have to put a little bit on my face for it to cover my entire face. A little bit goes a really long way. It gives a beautiful natural finish to the skin, really makes me glow. It is slightly transferable from what I can remember, and I do have to powder it down after about hour 8 or 9, but again 8 or 9 hours is still a working day, so I'm happy to at the end of the working day I have to powder it down rather than in the middle of the working day. And this one is relatively affordable as well. I think it's about £10–11, so really worth investing in, and I'm really happy with this. The next foundation I'm going to show you is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation. The shade I'm showing it to you in is 300. Now if you guys remember, I did do a review on this along with a demo where I showed you swatches of 3 different shades that I bought. At the time it was 330, 310 and 300. 330 was way too dark for me, and I sold it to one of you guys, thank you for that. And I kept a hold of 310 and 300. 310 was a little bit more warmer, 300 a little bit cooler. Then I went and bought 280, which I still find is a little bit, it's not quite right for me, and I think I wasted money buying that. The one out of 310 and 300 I use the most is 300, even though this one and the other one are slightly dark for me, because this one's got more of a beigey, cooler kind of undertone. It seems to work better for me than the one which has got more warmer undertones, even though I am warm undertones, because 310 has got such warm undertones that it's almost too warm for me, whereas this one is almost has enough beige to match the beigeness in my skin. I do love this foundation. It's medium to full coverage. It's a matte foundation. It barely transfers. This is one of my favorite foundations of the year, and I cannot recommend this highly enough. It's good quality. It's 32ml. The shade range, obviously there's 40 shades out there. Fenty Beauty, Rihanna's beauty line, has been really popular with people this year, and I can say that it does live up to the hype. It's an amazing foundation, definitely worth looking into. The next one is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation. My shade is in Sand. I did a review recently on this. The shade is a little bit beige for me, but because I bronze up my face quite a lot, when I do wear this, I can just about make it work. Now, one thing I love about this is that it's 48 ml, which is huge for a foundation. I love the fact that when you open it up, there's a pump on this end, so you can literally squeeze out every little bit and then cut it in half when you need to when it's finished. It's a really gorgeous matte finish, lasts really beautifully on the day, and it controls oil to an extent, but I find that it is another foundation that looks really natural on my face despite the fact that it is a matte foundation. Number 9 is this one here, which is the Stila Stay All Day Foundation and Concealer. My shade is in medium 9. This is not a new foundation by any means, but it is new packaging. On the top is the concealer right there, as you can see, and when you open it up, it's that one with that very strange kind of dispenser where you have to squeeze it and then it comes out. I'm not going to do that now because I'll waste it, and it looks like it needs a clean. Dirty. But I really love this foundation. In terms of the shade, again, it is slightly dark for me, but slight. As soon as I apply my translucent powder, lo and behold, it matches my skin perfectly. It definitely does last most of the day. I really think that they should have reconsidered naming it Stay All Day, because it does not stay all day. It does move around slightly on the face, and it does not last up to 12 hours. I definitely have to powder my face after about hour 8 or 9. But it gives a really nice semi-matte finish to the skin, a really nice glow. It glides evenly onto the face. There's no patchiness. It's very even and keeps my skin looking fresh all day. The last one, and maybe the reason I'm showing you this last, is because it's my favorite foundation at the moment. It is my favorite foundation of 2017, and it is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. My shade is in bronze. This one is an almost perfect match for me, albeit maybe slightly dark, but again, like I've already said, I'd rather it be slightly darker than too light, because then it is more obvious when it's too light. This foundation, I cannot rave about it enough. I gave this a 10 out of 10. If I could give it more, I would. It's an amazing full coverage foundation. Of all the foundations I've shown you here, none of them are full coverage. They're all medium to full. This is the only full coverage one. I find that brands don't always do full coverage so well. I will admit to you guys right now though, I am wearing a foundation on my face right now that is not in this video, and it is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. That is a full coverage foundation, and I think that she did okay with it. I actually didn't give it a really positive review. However, since time has gone on and I bought a different shade, I'm now wearing the shade Baklava, which is a perfect match for my skin, and I used a lot less than I did to begin with. I find that it works a lot better. However, as the day goes on, it does emphasize the texture on my skin, and I find that that can happen with a lot of full coverage foundations. That does not happen with this one. This one, you need half a pump, which is amazing to cover your whole face, even though it's 20 ml, which is very small, and it costs £35, which is expensive, especially for something which is 20 ml. You really do not need to use a lot of this at all. It contains hyaluronic acid, which is great for smoothing out the skin, which is maybe something that other brands need to start doing, especially if they're the kind of foundations which emphasize the texture on your skin like the Huda Beauty one does. This one, I love it so much. It's amazing. It's full coverage. I still look natural, but I look flawless, but flawless, natural flawless, rather than fake plastic Barbie doll flawless, if that makes sense. So this one here, the Jouer foundation, which is in the shade Bronzed. So that is it, my friends. That is my top 10 foundations for Indian, Pakistani, tan, brown, olive skin for 2017. I will do this video again, obviously, next December. Things may change, my thoughts may change. I think out of all of these foundations, the only one which was in last year's one was this one here, the Pro Longwear by MAC, and maybe the L'Oreal one, and I don't see these two ever leaving my life, to be honest, especially this L'Oreal one. Anytime anyone goes to Canada, they have to come back with this, and I think my parents are going there soon, so I'll be sending them down to the drugstore to buy me a few of these, because I get through these quite a lot. What else can I say? On my lips, I'm wearing a Jeffree Star's Santa Baby Velour Liquid Lipstick, and jewellery, Topshop, jumper, Zara, and I went a bit extra on my eyes today because as I'm filming, it's actually Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. And I'm about to go out and see some Christmas lights at Kew Garden. So that's it. So I hope you guys are wonderful and great and you enjoyed the video. If you've got any comments or questions, feel free to ask me below. If you're going to be rude about foundation shades and skin color and that sort of thing, keep it to yourself. This is a positive place, this is a positive channel. Even if you do want to discuss it, speak to me in a respectful way in which I am willing to debate with you, because I'm always willing to debate. I'm not willing to argue. I don't have time for that. So on that note, I will wish you adieu and I'll see you all in the next video.